Good Monday morning. Let's see. Let's get this mic over here. Good Monday morning to you. It is Money Mondays here at the Business of Apparel. And we've been getting a few questions. Why are we talking about general money stuff and not about apparel? And that's a totally valid question. First of all, we've taken that feedback. And in 2026, when we kind of turn over the new year, we will be coming back 100% to apparel related topics. But it is really important as a brand owner, as a company owner, as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a human being of any kind in this type of economy to understand financial fundamentals. If you are running a business, if you own an apparel brand, if you are thinking about starting an apparel brand, if you're trying to figure out what all of that looks like, all of these other money matters matter. So figuring out a retirement plan, figuring out what you're working toward, like what am I building this business for? Is it a good time for me to buy real estate property? Maybe not necessarily personally, but that also works for your business. Should you rent a space? Should you buy a space? Should you have commercial property? Should you have investment property? All of this stuff goes together. And so if you don't understand, number one, money mentality, which is something we've talked about a few times, it's actually one of the topics that we're getting a lot of hits on. People are really interested in learning a little bit more about money mentality. So we've been considering that as well in like some of the content that we're sharing. But also like you just need to be able to understand these fundamentals so that you are a successful business owner. Learning about money, learning about finances, learning your numbers is important. And so if you're coming to Money Mondays every single week and you're like, I don't understand why Rachel's talking about this. Like, let's just talk about apparel stuff. I want you to understand that this stuff is just as important, if not more so, because it trickles into your personal life too. And so today we're going to talk about something that has been really important for me and my family and our personal lives that I feel like we've done a pretty good job at over the many years that we've been working our corporate jobs, working as freelancers, whatever I've gotten myself up to. And this is, what do they call it? They call it lifestyle creep. I was going to say scope creep, and that's not the right thing. That's something totally different. That's a project management nerdy term. Scope creep is. Lifestyle creep. So let's talk about how this happens. You start your career, maybe you're making $40,000 a year and you're renting a small place. You're watching your budget as you go grocery shopping, as you go clothes shopping, as you go out to eat with friends. And then you get a raise, you get a promotion. Now you're making $55,000 a year. That'd be a great promotion and a raise, but let's just say that happens. You're making $55,000 a year. Maybe you left that first job, you went to a new place, you negotiated a much higher salary. Now you're making $15,000 more a year. And instead of saving that extra $15,000 or doing something toward retirement or doing something very practical and strategic with that money, you just spend more. You go out with your friends more, you buy more groceries, maybe you're doing more DoorDash or Grubhub, and all of a sudden you are still living paycheck to paycheck. Then you get another promotion. Now maybe you're making $70,000 a year and you do the same thing. You don't put aside that money. Instead, you start to spend it. You have more clothes. Now I've got designer clothes. Now I've got a brand new TV. Now I'm living in a really swanky, fancy apartment. And these are the kinds of things that a lot of people do. And our society encourages a lot of us to do this, right? It's that overconsumption, keep up with the Joneses, make sure that everybody sees how cool you are with all the things that you own and all the places you go and how expensive your wardrobe is and how expensive everything is in your house. But if you allow yourself to continue going through lifestyle creep and you don't start treating it like, if you don't start treating your money like present and future at the same time, there will come a day when you're going to want to get out of working. You're going to want to retire. You're no longer going to want to do the 9 to 5, and there will be no money there for you if you don't start to consider it now, if you don't build a strategy around that. And so a lot of financial gurus are out there talking about lifestyle creep. And one of the things that they really recommend is that every time you get a promotion or you get a raise at your work, you set that aside for retirement and you live the life that you have been living. So what does that look like? That looks like, that, what did I say, $40,000 first salary that you ever got. And however often you were going out with your friends, whatever kind of groceries you were budgeting for, whatever you were spending your money on. Maybe it was modest. Maybe it was kind of minimalist. Maybe you didn't feel like you were keeping up with the Joneses, but it worked for you. You just kind of had that little itch in the back of your head going like, someday I can't wait to be able to, have designer clothes. And I can't wait to have all the expensive things. And I can't wait to feel like I'm doing everything that everybody next to me is doing. Even though I'm going to tell you right now that a lot of people who are doing all the things that you think is like rich lifestyle, everybody's wealthy, everybody's traveling all the time, everybody's got amazing clothes, everybody's got all this stuff. So many people are in debt and they can't afford the things that they're buying. You've put in the hours, you've mastered the fundamentals, and your brand is no longer a passion project. But somewhere along the way, the hustle that got you here started to feel like a trap. You're building a business, not just making clothes, and you're starting to wonder if you'll ever crack the code to consistent, profitable growth. What if I told you that industry's top brands aren't just working harder, they're working smarter, with a clear blueprint for everything from line planning to streamlining their supply chain? This is the insider knowledge that's typically kept behind closed doors, but now it's accessible to you. Introducing The Board, an annual membership designed to give you that strategic advantage. Led by a team with over 70 years of combined experience, we provide the honest, real talk mentorship you need to move from busy to truly successful. We'll show you how to focus on the small, consistent actions that lead to massive progress, helping you build a legacy without the burnout. It's time to stop second-guessing yourself and start building with purpose. Don't pay attention to the chaos. Pay attention to what actually matters. Join the board and unlock the proven systems that will transform your brand. Go to thebusinessofapparel.com to find the option that's right for you. I can't wait to see you in there. So the lifestyle creep that we allow to let into our lives not only might defer retirement. Let's say you want to retire at 60, not 65. Well, if you're not thinking about that and you're not putting a strategy down and you're not saving and you're letting lifestyle creep completely dominate your finances, you're not going to be able to do that. You might not even be able to retire at 65. You might have to keep going. So this is something that I've actually done really, really well throughout my entire marriage. Since my husband and I have been together, we've done a pretty good job with denying lifestyle creep. We still budget and clip coupons when it comes to buying groceries. We still look for discounts and deals when it comes to buying anything that we need for the house. Or if I'm out there looking for clothes, a lot of the time I work in the apparel industry. I get clothes for free because of the clients that I work for. And so I bring those home. Those are our new clothes. I didn't actually spend any money on them. When it comes to housing, we make sure that we are always well below the budget that we could probably be going with. And we put a lot of our money toward retirement and toward savings and toward experiences that we want to have. We want to go do a big European trip next year. Cool. Let's start saving for that. Let's put a strategy against it. Let's make sure that we know what we want to spend. Where do we want to go? How long do we want to be there? What do we need to put aside for that? Does that mean this week we can't go out to eat on Friday and I have to cook at home? Does that mean that I can't go shopping this week for the new house? We have to maybe defer that for a little while. We need to be smarter about how we're spending. These are all really tough decisions to make because it's fun to go spend money and it's fun to try to keep up with the Joneses and to feel like you're filling your life with things that make you wealthy and and things that make you feel rich. But at the end of the day, those things that you're accumulating are actually doing the opposite of making you happy. A lot of times we're finding in psychology, not that I'm a psychologist, I do not claim on that, but I do read a lot about psychology. And there's a psychology out there that basically says all the stuff that you accumulate just creates more clutter in your life and it actually distracts you and it makes you less happy and it makes you feel like your life is messy. And so why not curate your life to build a wardrobe that you love, to build a library of books that you might go back and read over and over again, to build a home that is yours and that doesn't feel messy and cluttered with stuff everywhere. There is absolutely a happiness element to knowing that everything that you own and everything that you have spent your money on was well purposed and has a place. If you just keep buying stuff because you have this extra money and you don't know what to do with it, like I made an extra $15,000 this year, so I must need to spend it. So let me just go buy more stuff. Very rarely does that actually make us happy. Sure, it'll give us a dopamine hit when we're like out there shopping and we've spent our money and we hear that cha-ching. We don't hear a cha-ching anymore at the actual checkout, but it's that feeling that you've purchased something for yourself. You've rewarded yourself with something. But that dopamine hit goes away. And then you just have more stuff in your house. And so we have been really, really good about making sure that even when we progressed throughout our careers, when we had, I was in a managerial business leadership position when I was at corporate. I left a very well-paying job to come start Unmarked Street and the business of apparel and come out here and be able to talk to you. But when we were in those positions, we were still on a budget. We were still making sure that we weren't going out to eat all the time and spending all of our money in ways that didn't make sense for us. So that's a little bit what lifestyle creep is. And most financial people out there are going to give you that same advice. If you really want to have happy experiences in your life, if you want to go on vacations and take breaks and retire at a time that makes sense for you, instead of spending that money that you make as you make more money over time, start saving it and putting a strategy against it. And the earlier that you can do that, we've talked about this in an episode before, the earlier that you can start saving, especially if you can put them into really good retirement and investment accounts, it will grow over time for you too, which will be such a huge advantage when you get to that stage in your life where you want to be able to walk away and you want to be able to relax for good and go do things that you only ever want to do. You don't got to go work for someone else anymore. So pay attention to lifestyle creep. It happens. And I'm not saying I'm an expert in it. And I'm also not saying we haven't let lifestyle creep in at all. I'm not like still eating ramen and mac and cheese and hot dogs every night. Like we do eat healthier. We buy vegetables and fruits and organic. And we do not like still eat and live like we're in college. So I'm not saying that I'm an expert in not letting any lifestyle creep in. And I do think that there can be like an extreme side of this, right? Like you don't need to torture yourself or punish yourself. If you get a raise and there's something that you've been missing from your life, like healthier eating, and you haven't been able to buy the nice organic vegetables and groceries at the store because they're a little bit too expensive or outside of your budget, and now you can. Those are investments in your life and your health, right? So these are all decisions that you have to make for you. All I'm saying is we see so many people all around us all the time taking whatever money they get in a promotion or a raise and just figuring out how to spend it. And at the end of the day, that is really not the best way to be setting yourself up for wealth and financial gain. So if wealth, financial gain, early retirement, any kind of retirement, honestly, is in your plan, then lifestyle creep is something that you kind of want to pay attention to and avoid as much as you can. So if you like this episode and you learned something, maybe someone else could learn something from it, please share it with them. We will be getting back to apparel related topics here very soon. Thanks for bearing with me. But again, this stuff is all really, really important. And it's important too in your business. If you think about lifestyle creep in a business sense, like when you start making more money, you get that big client. Are you saving that money, putting that into profits for your business so that you can show a profit this year? Put more money against your business plan, have really strategic ways of investing and putting that money forward for your business? Or are you just spending more? Are you just buying more food at meetings? Are you, I don't know, like, are you just making silly purchases for your business instead of actually putting a strategy behind it? All of it's related. It all makes sense together. And you have to understand how all of it works. So have a wonderful week ahead. Hope you have a great Monday. If you have any questions on this, you can always put questions and comments below right here in YouTube. We love to chat with our community. And if you have any topics that you'd love for me to cover, let me know that too. We are planning for 2026 right now and putting some topics together. So have a great week. Happy Monday. Talk to you next week.